Hi, this is Dr. Fox, and let's talk about the ear. In this video, we'll discuss the structure and function of the ear and its three divisions. So the ear is a dynamic organ whose purpose is to receive and make sense of hearing and equilibrium. There are three parts to the ear. There is the outer ear, or the external ear, which is everything that I am outlining. And then there is the middle ear, the external ear and the middle ear are divided from one another by the tympanic membrane, or the eardrum. And then there is the inner ear, and the inner ear is separated from the middle ear by two passageways. There is the oval window and the round window. So the external ear has two major parts to it. There is the auricle, or pinna, which is the portion which is visible to you. You know, if you were to say, look at my ear, that would be the pinna that we were looking at. Its function is to shape and funnel sound into the next part of the external ear, called the external acoustic meatus. A meatus is a tube-like opening. So the auricle is primarily comprised of skin surrounding elastic cartilage, and it has different shapes, and it even has skeletal muscles that can alter its orientation. So these are called auricular muscles that are controlled by the facial nerve, although we don't talk much about these in this course. They are far less developed than in other mammals that are capable of moving their external ears all about. Anyhow, that external acoustic meatus is about 2 centimeters in total length. It terminates at the tympanic membrane, or the eardrum. About 1/3 of the external acoustic meatus is cartilaginous, and the remaining 2/3 is bony, meaning that it's surrounded by the temporal bone. The EAM is an epidermis-lined air-filled tube. So that is skin, which is lining the external acoustic meatus, and that skin contains ceruminous glands, which secrete cerumen, or earwax, which has a protective function. Now the tympanic membrane, or the eardrum, is the boundary between the external ear and the middle ear, and it's more a part of the middle ear than it is the external ear. So let's move along to that portion of the ear. So the external acoustic meatus is a skin-lined, air-filled tube. The middle ear is a mucosa-lined, air-filled cavity. Although sometimes keratinization can occur, and we can have skin begin to invade the middle ear space, which can jeopardize its ability to transmit sound. The middle ear is within the petrous portion of the temporal bone, and it really begins with that tympanic membrane, or the eardrum. So sound, as air vibrations, enter the external ear, and they strike the tympanic membrane, vibrating it. And there are 3 ossicles. There is a malleus, an incus, and a stapes. So these are 3 tiny little bones which are able to transmit those vibrations from the tympanic membrane all the way to the oval window, which is going to conduct it to the inner ear. Those ossicles have associated skeletal muscles. So in the case of the manubrium of the malleus, there is a muscle I'll outline it here. There's the muscle called the tensor tympani. And then there is another muscle associated with the neck of the stapes there called the stapedius. And these muscles function to dampen vibrations so as to not transmit too great a frequency or power into the inner ear. So they serve a protective role. And if there's any dysfunction of these muscles, that can lead to a condition known as hyperacusis, where sound just seems too loud. So that sound vibration conducted by the footplate of the stapes is at the oval window, and it vibrates fluid within the membranous portion of the cochlea here, and that is actually going to come back to a round window because the fluid is incompressible, and so that allows the fluid within the cochlea to move. There are other communications of the middle ear to other spaces, most notably to the posterior. Within the mastoidal process, there's a mastoid sinus comprised of mastoid air cells. And then to the anterior and inferior, there's the pharyngotympanic tube, also known as the eustachian, also known as the auditory tube, which is going to connect the middle ear to the nasopharynx so that one might equilibrate pressure between the middle ear and the pharynx. This is also the route by which infection can invade the middle ear. And then finally we have the internal or the inner ear. This is also within the petrous part of the temporal bone. And structurally there are two parts to it. The outermost part is a bony labyrinth, and that bone is more dense than the surrounding temporal bone. And that bony labyrinth houses a membranous labyrinth. And within that membranous labyrinth we have endolymph. So all of the sensory receptors are going to be housed within this membranous labyrinth. And they're going to function either to help with equilibrium and balance or audition in hearing. So there are a couple of portions to this. The part that communicates directly with the oval window is known as the vestibule. And that vestibule houses two structures which are important for balance, the saccule and the utricle. We'll get into more details on those later. And coming off of the vestibule, we have three semicircular canals. And these semicircular canals are very important for dynamic equilibrium, in particular acceleration. Also off of that vestibule is the cochlea, and the cochlea is the organ for audition or hearing. All of these senses, equilibrium / balance and hearing, are modulated by the vestibulocochlear nerve. The vestibulocochlear nerve is going to enter into the temporal bone and the inner ear via the internal acoustic meatus. So that is a tube-like opening that goes to the inner ear. And it's also accompanied by the facial nerve, but the facial nerve heads to the canal of the facial nerve and doesn't serve the inner ear. So that leads us to the assessment question of this video, and that is, which structure or structures integral to hearing bridge or bridges air vibration with bony vibration? Is it the ossicles? Well, the ossicles are bony vibration, so that's not it. Is it the oval window? Well, the oval window is bridging the middle ear with the inner ear, so that's bony to fluid. Is it the round window? That also is between the middle and inner ear. That's not it. Or is it the tympanic membrane? Tympanic membrane picks up vibrations from the air and conducts them to the malleus. So yes, tympanic membrane is the correct answer. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll talk to you in the next video.